the fact that I was able to get everything set up by myself and make it happen and have this amazing launch and see my product on Amazon, it's like I never even thought about that. It's like just a whole new world for me.
I am super excited to bring you guys another interview with a member from the Inner Circle. Dragana has been selling for a very short period of time. She launched her first product this year, and it's been up and down for her. And you're going to learn that it's not always smooth sailing, but she's going to talk about some of the things that went right, some of the things that went wrong, and what her plans are moving forward. So I think it's important to share the story of a product that doesn't always succeed, because that's more reality. This is a numbers game, and even at our level, with our level of sophistication and experience, we're only keeping about half the products that we launch, and we're only profitable on like 80% of them. So it's good to know and have the truth behind you as well, so you have proper expectations when coming into this business. So I'll let her talk about her story in this interview, and I feel free to ask any questions below. Please make sure to subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Welcome back to another spotlight for Inner Circle members. I have Dragana with me today, and excuse me if I mispronounce your last name. It's my pronunciation that needs help. Pavlovich?
Yes, you did well.
Not bad. Well is okay, I think. So I think I did okay there.
Not bad. Yeah, Dragana and Pavlovich would be easier.
Pavlovich. Okay. All right. So Dragana joined maybe a little over a year ago now, and I remember you had come in and you had some experience with Amazon, and we're going to walk through all of that. And then more recently, you launched a product with us, and your launch went really well. And then things started to not go so well. You ran into some issues. And so I thought it was super important, because we've had interviews with other Inner Circle members where, Jess is making $1 million a year in her second year, and Debbie has already exited a brand and is starting all over again and doing a great job. And I thought it was super important to interview someone who is in the midst of starting the business, really, and talk about what you've learned, what you've experienced, the learning curve that you've gone through, because your experience, to me, is going to be very typical in a lot of instances for a lot of sellers. Not every product we launch we keep. It's probably only like 50%. We don't, and we still make decisions after launch as to whether we should move on from a product very quickly and then move on to the next product. And it's one of the reasons we constantly are launching and looking for new products. And so you're going through some of that now. And I think it's important to hear your story, talk about some of the numbers, the metrics, the ups and downs, the issues that you've had, and then share that experience with everyone else that's watching. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Yes. I still in a learning curve, I guess. It's what's happening. And no matter how much you try to make sure you do everything right, they're just things that are out of your control, and they just happen in the wrong time. And for us, it went really well. Just like you said, we did the whole prep really good. We managed to get on Amazon and start the honeymoon phase, and everything went the way we planned. And then the May glitch happened, and it was in the middle of our waiting for a second order, which was delayed for a month. And we couldn't even pick up then, because we were still trying to kind of keep it low with the inventory so we don't run out too long before the second order come in. And it's just been snowballing after. So we'll see.
Yeah. So I remember we spoke many times during office hours. You've been a regular on there. You've put in a lot of time. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you as well, because I can see the hard work you're putting in. And I know a lot of the other members who watch the replays, if they don't get to attend the weekly calls, they've at least heard your voice many times. Yes. Because you do attend and you do put in the time. So I'm just going to recap what happened with your situation. So you got everything ordered. You preserved your honeymoon period so that the launch went very smoothly. You were able to launch and create the new history with Amazon, and you got ranked very well, very quickly, a little
Yes.
too well, a little
Yeah.
too quickly. And so you were selling more than you anticipated.
We were selling, yes, about, let's say 15 units to 23 units a day, which is an average now. It was more when we started, but we kind of planned it on. It was well thought. I feel like when it comes to that launch, just to correct you earlier, we joined it in December, and we were already working with a mentor, and we just started with somebody else, and it was valuable to have somebody to talk directly to. But I feel like once we got to inner circle, I figured out we were just scratching the surface, because it was more how to get the product to Amazon. And that's where it stopped. What you do after, there was not much insight. And it felt more of a gamble. Like, you can get a really good product, but there's always chance it's not going to be what you thought it's going to be. So when we joined and I started learning about your methods, I was like super stressed because it was short. We already had product in production and it was on its way. And I just found out about, master keyword list and all this stuff. And I was trying to get everything and learn everything so fast. And we ended up doing just PPC launch with the rebates because I just could not figure out the ManyChat. That was just too much. And so I did that and we launched, and we were really set for a nice 3 months of inventory. That was fine. But we placed our second order, and we placed a huge order because it was going really, really well. We sold over 10,000 first month. So we were like, yes, let's do this. My husband's kind of joining more and more, but it was me all the way to that point. And so I was like, we're going to do this. This is serious. We can do this. And we placed that second order. And then our supplier didn't start production until 2 weeks later. It was a miscommunication, which I feel shouldn't have been, but it's happened. And so that's it. Just 2 weeks later they started production, and then the product ended up being defective on inspection, and there 2 weeks more of just fixing stuff. So we were delayed for a whole month to get our second order in. And in that meantime, May glitch happens and we lost all of our ranks. But we not only didn't have anything like backup plan to do, we couldn't even boost our sales with rebates or any giveaways because we didn't have inventory left.
Mm-hmm.
We were running low. So we start trying to, do some looking into backhand and do all the methods you told everybody at the time, and nothing worked. And I think that's because we didn't have any way of bringing sales in because we didn't have anything to sell. So our huge order comes in when they changed the full structure of your storage space limits. And now we have 6 months of inventory and the lowest sales and the lowest ranks when that arrived. And I mean, it was a headache because we just got our IPI score as well at that time, and it was super high. It was like 560 or 570. And everybody told us like, that's great, that's a great number. And then every week, because it was moving slow, it just keeps dropping. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Should we recall it or not? So it hasn't been moving as fast as we should. And PPC, no matter what we did, it just didn't help. And I ended up talking to somebody and hiring a PPC specialist this month. So it's moving in the right direction, I can say, but it's just still hurting us to say.
Yeah. And so what are your sales today per day?
We're averaging about 8.
So 8 a day. Now, do you
Yeah.
think at this point, I know you have a lot of inventory. Did you send it all in, like all of the 6 months, quote unquote, of inventory? Is it all in the warehouse?
Yes, it's all in the warehouse because we were hoping we'll be moving faster, and our original limit of 200 got lifted to 3,000, and we were encouraged with that, and we ordered like 12 or 1,500 more, and
Mhm.
it just we don't have 3PL. We were just going to send it in, and it should have worked. It should have been fine, but then they restructured it in the middle of it. So
Yeah. So this happened to a lot of people, including us with some of our launches. And when you run out of stock for a period of time, you have the IPI scores, the inventory limits, you're not able to get enough inventory in, that can really hurt your ranks. And so there's some relaunch methods. One of the strategies that we discuss in the inner circle is a full relaunch, but able to take advantage of the current reviews you have, maybe launching it as a variation or as that. But it's such a challenge for you because your product weighs a decent amount. And so to recall and send it back in would be very expensive. And your margins are already a little tighter than you wanted them to be when you first launched. Is that right?
yes, absolutely. I mean, when we just did a whole calculation, we were at 56 margin with the top, with the price that we were shooting for, and we reached that price after the launch, after the honeymoon phase. We were able to like slowly increase it, and we were having sales. Even when we were trying to slow down, our ranks were so good that we were selling more than we wanted to. With the like we boost the price really high for a while, and if it would have gone really well if it wasn't for that. I think it was an algorithm change, but everybody says the glitch. So now we are pretty much down to, I don't know if 45% ACOS is what we have now, and we had to lower the price to see if we can get back up where we were.
Mm-hmm.
So our original ROI was about 250, and now we're operating at 105. So it's
Yeah.
like
And that's
amazing.
kind of like the bottom of where you want to be, right? Every time you sell one product, you want to be able to buy two. And
Yeah.
so when you're talking about like where do you want to be with ROI, 100% is not something you want to aim for when you're first choosing a product. That's a tight margin because things happen like this. Like there's margin compression, additional expenses. Bouncing it off of a 3PL would have cost you extra money, and I'm sure a lot of your competitors had to do that, which is something that's probably kept the price a little bit higher than normal and might raise the price. Um, so the I guess we've learned some valuable lessons from this, and tell me tell me what is some of the positive that you've taken away from the experience.
I mean, I really fell in love with this model. This is my dream job. I want to be able to work from home. I want to be able to travel and work from anywhere. And that's exactly what's really attractive to me here. And I like the idea of not having to have your own space, because we, before that COVID started, we had our own business. We had a family business running, and it just got wiped off. The whole industry got wiped off. We were working events, and so um, I know what it means to be an entrepreneur, and how to, work with your, you know, when you have a freedom to do your own schedule and work for yourself. But Amazon is also something that you can do it from anywhere without having to have a warehouse, without having to have an office. And it's just something that I can see myself doing for a long time. And, like Debbie, have my beach house and, just be anywhere and travel the world. So that's why it's really important to me, because I want to spend a good few months of a year back in Europe with my family. I don't get to see them, and I haven't seen them like for 3 years now. So I really like this whole thing. And when I found your method, where you finally have some numbers, and it's so much more that data driven, that it doesn't feel anymore like a lottery. It's something you can make educated guesses about, and do your research, and it's serious business to say. So I love that. And I mean, the fact that I was able to get everything set up by myself and make it happen and have this amazing launch and see my product on Amazon. It's like I never even thought about that. That's like just a whole new world for me. So there's so much to learn and there's so much to do, but I believe in this, and I really truly want to do this. So I'm actually working on a product development myself, because I have an idea and I think it's good, and I did some research and it has good market for it. So we'll see what happens there. And if we cannot get this up and running again the way it's supposed to, we're just gonna abandon it and see move forward. I have my husband join in, so that's a great thing, and he's much more like a pivot table guy than I am. So I think I truly believe this is something we can do, and being surrounded with inner circle members and having that community, it just brings you like awareness how many people are in this, and everybody's going through different things and they're sharing. And I feel like there's such a support system built here, that anytime you have a problem, like we have the hardest time with brand registry, we still are not able to get it. This is the fourth round of application that we submitted, and it just goes back to getting the abuse of conduct, and then we send in the papers, and then they approve it and clear it, and they say, you're fine to apply, and we reapply and get the same answer again. And it's been just a vicious circle. So I had some inner circle members who helped with this when I first encountered it, and it was amazing help. It was just a relief knowing that somebody already has a model that works. So
Yeah, that's the power of any mastermind, right? Is that you're not alone, and so you're able to tackle a lot of these issues that arise. We all face different issues in this business. It's really a hard business, and we're going to try to make that a lot easier because of the web-based chatbots versus ManyChat, and building a CRM system. I think for your product, if you're going to stay in your same niche, it's very powerful because you get a lot of people that are in the same, that are passionate about what you're selling and like what they're doing. So when you market additional products to them, they're very likely to want to participate, and even if it's for a rebate or for whatever. So keeping a solid list of customers and building it yourself, it can be very powerful for that brand building aspect and help for future launches. And I know for the first product, a lot of people, they just want to walk the process and prove the concept. And now the second time around, you can dig in a little bit deeper and start thinking long term.
thank you. I appreciate this help. It's just very, special.
No worries. So let's jump back into the part that's going to be in the public. And
Okay.
I want to ask you, what would you change this time around? What lessons have you learned that you might be able to share with others who are watching?
Well, that not to rush. I feel we had a deadline that I kind of put to myself, and I said, what, it has to happen at a certain time. It was just additional pressure, and the launch itself was pressured by my inventory arriving too early as well. And I didn't, even though it went really amazing, I didn't feel ready. And the second time around, when we did our second order, it happened again. We were pushed with a delayed start of the production, and then we were pushed with defective order. And I wish I didn't call that inventory. I wish I didn't did another inspection and waited. It would give me more time, and I would have probably saved money. But I just was under pressure to to bring stuff in that I feel like it was a bad decision. So as anything I do from now on, it's going to be, something I have to be certain I want to, I'm ready for it. It's just not the same when you're under pressure and when you have everything, figured out and in place and you're ready to launch.
Yeah, that's a really great point, that you want the data to make the decision for you, is what we always say. And that's kind of how we try to lead our business and have you guys lead your business. And it's like, a lot of people like to try to go with their gut, and they feel good about a product, but like, even though the data says one thing, and
Yeah.
oftentimes the data is more right than your gut. And the other part of that is that not rushing is a great, great point, because a lot of people didn't start this business, for the rest of their life, like previously. And now they're just discovering it and just jumping into it. And it's like, if it takes you an extra month or an extra 2 months to get it right, it's going to be worth the wait. And there isn't a rush there. Like, it's more important that you have a solid foundation of a product that's going to generate positive cash flow and cash for you, that you can build a positive business from. And a lot of people, when they rush, or they don't use their data, or they go with their gut, or they have a failure with their first product, it's devastating to them, to a point where they give up on the business. They
Yeah.
walk away altogether. They don't have any more money to spend on products. Like, a lot of these things can happen. So I think you make an excellent point there. And I think it's an important lesson for people to learn, is that, take your time, right?
Take your time. Yes, definitely. Make sure you have everything in place and make sure that you're comfortable. We obviously don't see, this is such a business that's not in your control. Nothing is in your control. You don't see the product being manufactured. You don't get to feel it. You have to believe to what you're told. And then when you send it and you sell it, it's also Amazon's taking care of all of it. You don't have an insight on, how it's handled, how it's given to your customers. And then you have nothing. You can, even if something is wrong, you have no control of reaching out to that customer and trying. So your intentions and your business model can be like great, but you are not in control of a lot of it. So you can't be standing, this is my word. It's just not in your control. So making sure that you have everything double, triple checked, and that you know what your next plan of action is, it's important. I just feel like you can't control so much of it. So when you have something you do, then you do it right. I mean, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Thank you so much for joining us today and talking about your journey. I am very confident that moving forward, you're going to figure it out. That the next product will also be a success, but without the hiccups in
Yeah.
between. And yeah, you will continue to build a very successful business. Um, I'm very confident of that. So thank you
Thanks.
so much for sharing your story. And it's not, I think this was an important story to tell, again, because it's not all upside. It's not all, hey, you wake up one day and you're a millionaire and you have a multi-million-dollar business or an 8-figure business. Um, Despite what some of the gurus out there will tell you and sell you,
Yeah.
this is a very hard business, and things can go wrong, and often do. The key is to surround yourself with people who can help you navigate those things, and to try to be as prepared as possible, and, in your words, be patient.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. This was really great. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your help. I'm excited to be the case study, and we'll prove this is working.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll talk soon, and we'll follow up to verify that, and do a recap soon, when after your next launch, and or after we get this one working for you.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes.
Supplemental. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a
Take
good one.
care.